right, guys. Welcome back to the Rumble Pack. E3 is all said and done with now, and I think that we're gonna give some of our thoughts. Overall, though, what do we think about E3 2021, boys?
Kev,
I actually just
would you
had
like to
one
start?
more. Well, Microsoft extended today. They had.
Oh, really?
Mike,
What?
did you see it? They talked about Hellblade 2.
Yeah, but just developer stuff, right? Nothing really.
Yeah. Yeah, they talked to. I don't. They didn't even show any more Halo footage than what we got in the multiplayer thing. And then trying to think if there's. Oh, Psychonauts 2. They showed a bit of. I think they talked to Tim Schafer. I get like that game actually looks good. The stream didn't do justice. It looks really good. But that's it. So yeah, sorry. Continue again.
But what'd you think overall, Kev?
Yeah, I think you said it in chat, Mike. E3 just kind of seems like it's dead still. Like I don't know. They don't. Everyone's on their own schedule now. It's an indie thing almost at this point. I think Nintendo will unveil the new Pro when they see fit. Sony hasn't been at E3 for years. Microsoft, the only one that kind of showed up with an actual E3 presentation. Like the presentations were so bad. They were all terrible. Nintendo.
I don't know, dude. Verizon blew me away with their presentation. It really knocked my socks off.
What?
No, I'm just
You
joking. Saying Verizon.
Oh, Verizon. Oh,
I
my
think
God.
The
back-
Verizon
there was-
press conference.
There was definitely some. I think Xbox is the highlight. They had a solid show overall, but I always think when I think E3 and like the heyday of E3, I think of Steve when we went to New York City for
Oh, yeah.
Sony's 2016 E3 when they showed God of War. And
Yep.
the energy and the place erupting as Kratos comes out of the shadows. I mean, that's iconic. And
Yeah, they
none
showed
of
that.
the-
I remember they showed the Crash Bandicoot trilogy remaster, and like everyone lost their shit. Yeah.
None of the highs from this E3 came close to that for me. Breath of the Wild was cool, but Forza Horizon 5 is another big one for me, but nothing that made me get out of my seat and like cheer with absolute joy that something was coming or something was surprised me or was announced and looked insane.
And I think that's the big thing is nothing really surprised me. Like there was stuff I didn't completely see coming. Like I didn't see a new 2D Metroid coming. And it looks like a good, solid 2D Metroid game, but it didn't like blow me away. And the biggest games, the Starfield, the Elden Ring, like these are things that we've known about. You know what I mean? These aren't like world premieres as concepts in their own right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean, like, at the time during the Microsoft press conference, I was blown away by the sheer vast of games, but so much of it was cinematic. There was very few gameplay. I mean, I think it's hard to, like, they're not going to sneak in a perfect dark gameplay. I just feel we're still too close to the pandemic, and I don't know if the industry has even adjusted entirely to working at home. I hope that it has, because for the workers, I hope like that's a much better way forward, because we hear about people getting laid off more often, and if you're getting laid off, and then for each game, and you have to find a new studio, you have to move the family, all that, people can just work at home, be better. So I hope they've adjusted, but yeah, there's nothing really. Honestly, the thing I was most impressed with was just the format of the presentation from Microsoft.
From Microsoft, yeah.
Like, not even what they
Very
showed,
good.
just the format. Like, if we're being objective
No
about
bullshit.
how...
Yep.
Yeah, and then you go watch Ubisoft and every game deep dive. It's like all this bullshit. Microsoft gave a small deep dive to Halo and a pretty big one to Forza, which I don't think we really wanted. If there was a game that we wanted to deep dive for, it wouldn't have been Forza.
Right.
Yeah,
I gotta say, I was all in for the Forza deep dive, cause
Hmm.
I'm like a graphics junkie.
mm-hmm.
So that's probably what they were like the demographic they seemed to be going for was like we rendered these locations in like 12K with our crazy cameras and like it's the still on the landscape and we're like is that a
Yeah, it's
screenshot or
crazy.
is and then the car drives by it's like holy shit. It's
Yeah.
so funny that the takeaway the big takeaway for me is that next gen is coming from Microsoft before Sony. And yeah, we have Ratchet and Clank, but Ratchet and Clank doesn't look like Forza Horizon 5 did in
Hmm.
that showcase.
I will back up. I recently I've been playing through Ratchet and Clank. I think it's probably the most beautiful game I've ever seen. Like honestly, style, color, detail, character design. It's incredible. Game wise, it's not. It's I mean we've played it before.
Does it
It's
feel next gen to you, Ratchet and Clank?
like look wise, like I said, look wise, it's the best thing I've ever seen. And I feel like this is what just Sony what has they've become. Even I can't go back and replay God of War.
Hmm.
Oh,
Like
really?
yeah, no. Like I tried to go back and play New Game Plus. I just can't. I'm at the elf place and you know the bridges or whatever, and I'm
Yeah.
like I can't get into this again.
Hmm.
I don't, it just the gameplay's okay. I found like at the time when I was playing it, I loved it, but a lot of their games I can't see myself going back to. And Ratchet and Clank is one that I've always like played 4 or 5 times. I played through Resident Evil 8, a game that I really didn't but I enjoyed. I didn't think it was good, but I enjoyed it. I played that 6 times. And so, it's weird.
Steve.
Yeah, sorry. This is weird. I think Ratchet and Clank is it's a better game than Resident Evil 8, but I enjoyed it less than Resident Evil 8. I don't like yeah. I want game rather like for me like Horizon.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about this before, but Horizon to me yeah, it looks pretty, but once again, I'm in the same vein. It's just going to be another pretty Ratchet and Clank. I mean, in the credits, I'll stop here.
Yeah.
In the credits of Ratchet and Clank, there was one gameplay developer to every like 20 artist developers. And I'm like, oh, no wonder why this is like this. They're blowing all their budget on artists and making it look pretty rather than actually innovating on gameplay and actually having that conversation of does that feel good? Does that really take this Ratchet and Clank? And the writing's terrible. It's not what Ratchet and Clank became popular for. But anyway, enough. Mike, what did you let I go?
I'm just trying to think about like iconic E3 moments and like we just didn't get anything even close.
I'll ask. Do you think not having a crowd has any effect? Like they're not doing this for a crowd, so maybe they're not going to show us like that little bit maybe that we want.
What
Like
do
a
you
big
think,
surprise.
Steve?
They're not going to include a surprise. Or no.
I don't know. I don't think that the crowd has all that much to do with it. I mean, I think that the crowd, as far as our perception of the show, definitely adds something. Like when we hear an uproar of applause or something like that, that definitely adds to the hype. Just like live music or something like that. It definitely adds something. But in terms of what they're willing to show, no, I don't think so. I think that these games are going to be covered the same way with or without a crowd. I think that people are going to watch it from home, where the majority of consumers are going to be watching the show from. I don't think that a crowd is going to change the way they reveal things. I think the lackluster nature is more in line with the fact that, or has more to do with the fact that, you know, development just has been so strained because of COVID and everything. And I'm hoping that going forward, as these companies, as these developers and publishers are able to, you know, get back on schedule, get back on track, and back into their wheelhouse, they'll be able to put something together. Because right now, it seems like a lot of these companies were handing in their homework for partial credit. They're like, fuck, we didn't really get to anything in time. Like, but E3's here, and we need to show something. And everyone's eyes are going to be glued to their screens, and everyone's going to be, this is our chance to put out whatever we got. And so that's what we got, was whatever they had at the time. I have to agree with what you guys said before. Microsoft was the only one that felt like an E3 showcase, really. But watching your Nintendo reactions, and I was talking to Mike about this off mic, I think I was a little bit hotter on Nintendo's presentation than you guys were.
People seem to be actually going online.
I think that the Danganronpa trilogy coming to Switch is pretty big. I mean, Breath of the Wild 2, obviously, that's why they ended with it, because it was their major thing. I think that Metroid Dread, the first, original Metroid game, or first 2D Metroid game in, like, nearly 20 years coming out was, like, a pretty big deal. Mario and Rabbids, I mean, that's new. I don't think... Oh, wait, no, that was announced at the Ubisoft press conference. I don't know why... I don't know why they decided to show that twice.
Because then Ubisoft really would have had nothing.
Yeah, and I think that Kazuya and Smash, I mean, I think that's a pretty big get, with Smash being a Hall of Fame for classic video games, and Tekken being such... it's Tekken and Street Fighter are such classic fighting game series. I think that that's such a big get for Smash, even if it's not my thing particularly.
Mm-hmm.
I think Nintendo put together a fine show. The Advance Wars coming to Switch. Advance Wars was like a pretty big franchise that we haven't seen in a long time. And a lot of these ports, I think, are coming in a way that opens the doors to new fans. But yeah, please.
So
rebut me. I would love it.
Yeah, I'm laughing because Mike and I are just we're not in that loop at all.
Yeah,
we see these games and we're like, what the fuck is this?
I just thought, Steve, as you're rattling off all these things, it's like we keep going backwards. Metroid Dread was a Game Boy. It was like a Game Boy game that they shelved. It's like
DS, this ode to this ode
to Tekken. We're getting Danganronpa. Like,
yeah, definitely true. I mean, Mario Party Superstars.
Halo Infinite 2 is like, everyone's like, oh, it looks like Halo 3 is back. So
right.
Where's the new shit? Like, we're not getting anything new. Everything's re-releases, remasters. Monkey Ball is coming back. And like the shit that people are getting hyped for is just kind of a testament to how much love we have for games that are like old. Right. That they're trying to recapture these feelings of. Halo Infinite looks great because it looks like Halo 3. And that's what everyone's saying. It's like, it's not the progression of Halo. It's like, okay, Halo 4 and 5, not so great. All right, let's go back to 3, and everyone's all pumped. It's like, well, where's the progression?
I think there's a different story. There's kind of a Blizzard story there. Like, similar to what's going on with Blizzard.
Diablo 2. It's like we're going backwards.
But the problem... I get what you're saying. It's a valid point. It's just, I think the Halo and the Blizzard ones actually have meat behind it, because 343 sucks and Blizzard sucks now. People want Bungie. They want, it's like, oh, so what they're doing with Infinite is like, okay, I think they went in like more Call of Duty rather than Halo. So people want, let's get back to Halo and then progress it from there and evolve. Because from the developers, I heard a lot of evolution of what Halo is, while keeping that, what I heard, arena shooter, getting back to the arena shooter.
Right, so they're almost like resetting in a way, like rebooting. Yeah. Similar to how God of War kind of went back and rebooted, and now they're going to progress from the third-person kind of narrative.
They're like, Halo is trying to reset to go forward again. Diablo 2 is coming out because they can't make anything good again. Like, Blizzard is fucked. They're done. What did they? That's all they showed. Blizzard showed up and showed Diablo 2. Yeah, it looks cool, but my problem.
Overwatch 2. They showed Overwatch 2 as well.
They showed character models,
like new skins. Yeah.
Yeah, and what a shame that we couldn't hear from Jeff Kaplan because he left. I'm pretty sure he didn't leave. He was probably forced out because of creative differences about monetization. They're probably like, why are you making why are you focusing on co-op? Like, keep the looters, like the fucking PvP stuff, esports, dude, big money. Just like, I want to make a fun. Dude, I didn't make WoW to make money. I fucking loved video games. And now he's gone, so now they can make money. I get what you say, Mike. Yeah. We're going back to it.
We're going backwards. We're trying to recapture.
But what Kyle's like, man, I just hope it feels like Halo again. Because I watch Halo 5. It doesn't look like Halo. I think that was the problem. The art style and everything. 343 drifted so far away from what Halo, like the foundation is.
Know anything about Halo 5?
It's bad. It's on Gamepass, and I have no interest in playing. The story is like 5 hours. But
yeah, there's a great Mike. I don't know if you've seen it. I think I posted it in the Discord chat. But there's a great Chris Raygun video on how Halo's changed and why it's just an inferior arena shooter to like how it used to be. I won't go too into it, but yeah, great watch for all the fans out there and everything.
Well, you could give
right after this video, you can go watch it.
Give us a little. I mean, one of the biggest things that I got excited about just for the multiplayer, I think 4 introduced loadouts where you can have a different starting weapon, and Joseph Staten said Halo is about everyone starts on equal footing, and then you have to make decisions about how the map goes. That's an arena shooter.
That's exactly what this video's about.
Yeah, it got to Call of Duty, and that's what people hated. People don't want that. It's like, dude, I want everyone to start with an assault rifle, and then I'm gonna go get the grab. Because when you have that on the map, if everyone just starts with their favorite battle rifle, no one's gonna go for the shotgun because they have their battle rifle. But if everyone starts with the assault rifle, that some people like, some people don't, that creates wars. It's set different points in the map over the shotgun, over the sniper, over the rocket, the sword, and that's what made Halo fun.
Yeah. And also just all the movement enhancements and everything like that. Everyone's zipping all around the stage. It makes it so that vehicles are basically useless. But because it's a Halo game and it is tradition to have vehicles, they just throw them in there just because if they don't, people will get upset, stuff like that. So if Halo Infinite is a return to form in this more pure arena shooter way for the multiplayer, that could be good. But I didn't get any real impression of that from the multiplayer trailer that they showed.
I definitely want the pace to be quicker. I think if we got Halo 3 again, it would feel slow. And people wouldn't be as interested. It has to evolve. Like, I want to see a sprint. I want... Not as fast as Doom Eternal, but I want... And not as fast as Unreal Tournament either. I want it to just be a bit faster. Just that little bit faster. The grapple hook looks really cool if that's an equipment on the map and you can just use that to fly around the map. That's really cool. And the big open areas, they're trying to make vehicles a bigger part as what it used to be in Halo, where if you had the tank, you had the tank. You got some gangsters on the tank and you're going around.
Yeah.
So I see potential in what I saw from the multiplayer, especially the sticky bomb behind the sword and that blows to him.
Yeah,
If you can have that kind of sandbox creativity going back to the roots as well, that seems like a reset with some innovation and evolution in the arena shooter.
Okay.
How are we feeling about Gamepass? That's the winner.
My God.
That's the big winner of the show, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Steve, did you get your sub yet?
Not quite yet.
Unbelievable. Mike, how many times have I asked him to get it? It's like, man, so you're going to get the sub, right? You're gonna get the sub. Okay, yeah. We're all going to play Pirates of the Caribbean. We'll play that when it comes out. We're all going to play... I'm going to come out to your place. We'll play Psychonauts on the stream. We're going to do all this cool shit. Still doesn't even have the sub yet.
Yeah, exactly.
You haven't got a Series X either coming? It is that kind of like. Sorry, Steve. It is that kind of thing, though. I thought from watching it, it's like it's one of those things. Like Psychonauts, I can't see coming to PC. Maybe it is. I still feel like there'll be some games that won't be coming to PC at launch, but they'll work on it to get it there. I think there's been a couple like that. Evil Within? I forget. Anyway, but it was one of those things. I'm like, if you don't want a Series X or at least Game Pass, I don't get it. 'Cause that presentation killed it.
Yeah, I mean, because they showed like 90% of the games were day one Game Passes. In 27 of 30. That was
That's crazy.
I wonder if that's going to turn the tide in this upcoming year or two for Microsoft to surpass PS5.
So Colin said on the E3 episode of Sacred Symbols that he got so many write-ins and comments of people saying that they're switching. Like people are dropping PlayStation to switch to Xbox. I've started playing all my third parties on Xbox. The last few months. I turned my PlayStation on for the first time to put in Ratchet and Clank. I was like, I don't want to. I went back to Metro on Series X.
Yeah. Well, especially now that these games are just getting more and more expensive. The more expensive everything else gets, the better a deal Game Pass looks like, even though it's already a great deal in comparison.
I gotta ask Mike a question, because Mike has GameFly right now. He got a super special deal on that. But that's going to expire for Elden Ring, so in January.
Yes.
So I had to buy Ratchet and Clank for $70.
$70.
Yeah, and I want to. That's about 5 months. If it's $73 with tax. That's 5 months of Game Pass. So
don't know. Don't think so.
You're right. I want to ask you that, Mike. God of War comes out. I mean, sure, it might be a 96 on Metacritic. Is that 5 months of Game Pass?
So you guys know how I play games, though. So digital, no way. It's never $70 digital. I don't think is ever worth it. But it'd be a real this is not gonna happen. But God of War Ragnarok is digital only, $70. I would really be like, fuck,
I'm not gonna buy it.
Because I'll buy it physical for $70.
You'd pre-order that shit, I know for a fact already. But yeah, tell me how you wouldn't. Tell me about this moral quandary you're in.
Physical,
Mike.
But physical, $70. Turn around and sell it when you're done for $50 or whatever. Somebody else gets a great deal. You get to recoup most of the money. So it's not terrible if you do it like that. If you're someone that keeps games, so Kev, I know you keep a lot of your games. That's tough. That's a lot of money.
It is. I mean, Ratchet and Clank. I have 2016, I think, lying around. The 2016 reboot. But I played that 10, 11 times. And now I have the 60, but that's also free. And I still have... It's a free game on PS Plus. I still have the box. I like to keep it.
Yeah.
I'm having a really hard time not just selling Rift Apart right away. And Ratchet and Clank is my baby. I love this series to death. I love this franchise. It was one of the first franchises I got into when I got a PS2.
Yeah, you grew up with it.
Yeah, I mean, this is how I knew Insomniac my entire life. This is all they made to me. And $70. I mean, Resident Evil 8, I was having a hard time. That was $60, and that wasn't even exclusive. But I could have waited on that. I know maybe at the end of the console gen I can play Rift Apart for free. But this is actually a series I love. God of War I love God of War. That's another one. That's PS2. That was another thing that got me hooked into Sony when I was a kid. Any game from a Naughty Dog now, though, it's tough for me because I love Crash Bandicoot. There's so much that draws me into Sony because of childhood love and what they did to me as a kid. It is so hard. It's getting harder. I keep saying there's no way I'll get Ratchet and Clank day one, but then it comes out and I just see Ratchet. I'm like, dude, that's my childhood friend. I have a different connection to that franchise and God of War than like Mike does, where I actually loved these characters and grew up since I was 8 years old playing these games.
Mm.
And to charge me $70 and actually make me question something I love is really like that. That's pushing a nerve for me.
Mm.
But it's not.
I mean,
so.
Go for it, Mike. No. Go for it.
It's
Please.
not the $70 in isolation, is it? I feel like it's the $70, and then on the other side of the field, everything's free.
Yeah.
Free, right? Game Pass, $15 sub a month, whatever. You get Forza, you get Halo, you get everything included, Gears. Is it the $70 price point that is difficult to swallow, or is it the fact that the competition is so aggressive and so competitive from a price perspective? Halo Infinite multiplayer free, right? Naughty Dog's multiplayer game is not going to be free. No fucking chance. No chance.
Mm.
So do you think it's more that it's Xbox that is causing you now to second guess the pricing and the day one purchases?
Yeah.
Or is it Sony in isolation doing something that's caused you to kind of reconsider?
It's a mixture of both, I'll say. I think it's a great question. It's definitely a mixture of both, because Halo Infinite, this game with the most insane budget in video game history, is going to be free on Game Pass.
It's free.
Insane.
And here on the other side of the field, you have Sony complaining about games being too expensive to make. But I'm like, dude, Halo Infinite just spent $500 million on a game. Multiplayer is free with limited microtransactions, it seems, just the Battle Pass. And that's outside of the Game Pass spectrum, so they'll probably incentivize that with a Game Pass sub. But the campaign's free. Probably no microtransactions. How can I not? And also, I feel the quality of games growing up from Sony have diminished. On the PS1, Crash Bandicoot, awesome. Spyro, I love these games so much. PS2, Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter, just fun game, fun characters, funny writing. God of War, fun game, awesome. PS3 comes along, Ratchet and Clank Future, liked it, enjoyed it. God of War 3 came out, great. But that was carryover from the PS2. It's still carryover. In terms of new stuff, they didn't hook me again. Uncharted 2 was the only game I played, and Last of Us. Okay, Naughty Dog, awesome. I thought Last of Us was amazing. It looked like a Naughty Dog game. It still reminded me of Jak and Daxter in a way for some reason. Like, you have Joel as Jak and Ellie as Daxter, where Ellie would always say like these smart little funny things, very energetic, and Joel was more this quiet, laid back badass. That I've lost that in the PS4 era. Ghost Sucker. I've never got into any Sucker Punch. Oh no, Sly Cooper. That was a Sucker Punch game. And
I was going to say, the other big new pull to PS3 at the time, for me at least, was Infamous. It was Infamous and Uncharted.
I never got around to that.
It's funny. Gotcha. Sony's complaining about games getting too expensive to make, yet they're pushing. They're doing all this crazy mocap. They're these crazy production values and storylines, and it's all hyper realistic, and yet they're crying foul on games being too expensive, but they're the ones that are kind of pushing that narrative, while Microsoft, other than Halo Infinite. Well, actually, the quality disparity is going away.
It is.
It was like, for a while, the narrative was, okay, yeah, Game Pass is a great deal, but none of those games compete in terms of quality with Sony's first party. That's changing.
And then at the same time in Sony's first party, it's not like they knock it out of the park every time. I mean, look at Days Gone.
Yeah.
We've also yet to
I do have a soft spot for Days Gone myself.
Yeah, I know. we've still yet to see the full power of the Series X. It's so strange, right? This is another side that we don't hear from Xbox, but the Sony side, I hear from the developers. Insomniac said, "Oh, that's just cracking the tip of the PS5's power."
Yep.
Forza comes out with that. We don't hear, "Oh yeah, this is just scratching the surface." It's like, yeah, dude, here's the game. Go have fun. I just feel they're concentrating more on game to me. For me, it's just game. I want a game. I like what you said though about that disparity of quality where Sony pushes that. Well, they used to push that. It's got to look great. Like look at Horizon. No one will that. Like it looks great. Looks insane. Sure that. Hey, you have to say it's working. It fools the critics. Fools most people.
Yeah.
Fooled people on Ratchet and Clank recently. Look wins critics, I guess. But my biggest thing was, okay, but gameplay here doesn't look... Is the same reason why I criticized Ratchet and Clank. The gameplay in those trailers looked boring. And it was boring to play. Halo, when I saw the fucking sword, I'm like, creativity, that's fucking cool. I'm like, that's like Nintendo level shit. So yeah, I don't... Yeah.
I'm curious when you say Ratchet and Clank like doesn't feel good to play. Does it feel noticeably worse than old Ratchet and Clank games? Or is it just that it hasn't done enough to set itself apart and it feels like you're just playing the same thing again?
That's how it feels to me.
It feels like the
I've
same
played
thing.
the game. I'm like, I go through arenas and it's a group of enemies, and I've done this.
The combat's
how
fun.
many times? I've done this how many times?
The
And yeah, it's
game's-
gorgeous, and the writing's witty, and it's not gripping me because it's been there, done that, and it's kind of that feeling.
It needs the old Ratchet and Clank really, really badly. Rivet is the closest thing we've gotten to the... She actually has some friction, kind of, not really. There's one scene where she... It's like the whole... I don't like this whole... They're trying to tell a message rather than actually just flesh out characters. The second Future game was Quest for Booty. Has no replayability at all, right? It has no New Game Plus. I played through that thing fucking 8 times because it was pirates and everything had so much character. Everything just feels like you have to act good because you need to be a good person. That's what Ratchet is. Instead of being this hard ass, pain in the butt character that he used to be. It's like, just be a children's game now. You're filler for our God of War Uncharted's. We're going to diminish Ratchet and Clank.
It's the first, not the first, because we did get Demon Souls remake, and we got Returnal, but the first big first party PlayStation 5 exclusive, the power of the SSD, this can only be played on PS5. Didn't feel that way. Nothing about the way that it felt to play was... It made me be like, this is what I have to look forward to for this generation. This is like what you guys did with the power of the PS5. It doesn't feel especially new or interesting. And yeah, you can go to these, you can walk through a rift and it doesn't have to load. But it could be a loading screen on PS4. There's not... The game doesn't do anything fundamental to its moment-to-moment gameplay that prevents it from existing on other consoles. And that promise in the marketing was there. I was like, man, like, this is it. This is the moment where we get something that's going to make this worthwhile. And yeah, Horizon's coming to PS4, God of War's coming to PS4, but Ratchet's going to show us what we have to look forward to, and it doesn't show us anything that we haven't already seen. So that is part of the disappointment for me as well. But I mean, yeah, great particle effects, and there's fucking hairs all over Ratchet's body, and it looks great.
Mike and I will probably do a quick review of that when he gets through it, but it won't be a very long one, I'll tell you that.
I'm bullish on Microsoft, man. I'm really bullish on Microsoft. Sony's got to get their shit together. People are saying that we're going to get some kind of July event from them.
Showcase?
Yeah.
They
got to bring the heat, man. They got to bring the heat again. Everyone blew their loads on the PS4 late in the generation.
What is it? Oh, I know Stalker. So we've talking about Microsoft. We've talked about this a bit together, but on the pod, Mike was visually that game looks incredible. Stalker 2.
Yeah.
I remember you were really impressed with the mocap. Every game that looks that good, I always am hesitant about. Is it going to have atmosphere? Is it going to have cool gameplay? That actually seemed to have the cool atmosphere, and some of the weapons seemed cool. But I don't know what the gameplay really is supposed to tell me that is specific. It looks pretty and all that. But I wanted Mike to talk about Stalker, honestly, because I thought
Stalker looks dope.
Yeah.
Stalker looks dope. I disagree entirely. I think that it's one of the few games that I've seen that matches high graphical fidelity with a really atmospheric and environmental storytelling, and all this stuff is there. We saw it in the gameplay where the main character is walking through this almost minefield with like these radioactive, invisible, like magnetic energy signatures, and he's like dropping whatever the fuck. Cool. I don't even know what he was doing, but it was crazy. And then he's like skulking through this like underground almost lab, and that creature's like teleporting around him. It was fucking scary as hell. It was scary.
Yeah.
It was scary. I jumped on the stream. I'm like, whoa! Like, holy shit. Holy shit.
Stalker was probably
special.
what looked to me like the game I want to play the most from the Xbox conference. And if you asked me what Stalker was before that conference, I couldn't have told you. But Stalker 2, man, I'm all in on Stalker 2.
I still can't tell you what it is.
I can't believe that's coming to Game Pass on launch.
Right.
Though.
Yeah.
That blows me fucking away. You know Sony would have charged $70 to have that exclusive.
Well, it's coming to...
It's a time exclusive, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But Deathloop's $70, right?
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Deathloop's $70. Is it? Or is it because it's a third-party timed... I don't know. I might be speaking out of
I don't know what the price is.
To prove a point.
No, Deathloop is $60.
Okay.
And it's actually been discounted on the PlayStation Store to like 52 or something for the last, like, since it's been announced. They've had it discounted.
I wonder if they're struggling.
Jab at
I wonder if they're
Microsoft
struggling to, like, okay, this is timed for a year, and then everyone's going to get it for free on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they're
trying
struggling to sell it.
Sell as many copies as possible.
I want to bring up. It's kind of hard to talk about Game Pass, and for me, what sticks to me with Corey Barlog said that they're working on a counter punch. Sony's working on a counter punch to Microsoft's Game Pass.
Really?
I still don't. I'm trying to find every logical, rational explanation and reasoning where in any universe where their Game Pass works. After what they've said,
Sony's you're talking about?
Yeah, because third party is Xbox at this point, and the deal that they're giving indie developers and all that, and indie developers would rather go to PC. Like Epic Games is very supportive of that. So if you give them a chance to just make money on the game and have as many players play it, I don't see them having a Game Pass with the exclusives. The only thing people want at this point from Sony is their exclusives on their Game Pass. If you give us, unless they come out and say, okay, so instead of $60 a year, it's $120 a year, but when the next exclusive comes out, you get it on Game Pass or Sony. I'm okay with that.
That's compelling.
I don't care if they double the price. I'd rather pay a sub and get a catalog than pay $70.
Ooh, that's compelling. Steve, would you pay I don't know how the math. I mean, we get maybe 3 or 4 big first-party releases a year from Sony first-party. Would you pay $15 a month to have access to Sony first-party in perpetuity?
So in this hypothetical, are we saying that Sony Game Pass has all the Sony exclusives plus some third parties like Microsoft's, or is this only for Sony exclusives, $15 a month?
Only Sony exclusives. You keep your sub. You get all their past games that are on PS4, PS5. You get Ratchet and Clank day one. You keep it as long as you have the sub. You get God of War 2. You get fucking Horizon. All of it. $15 a month.
Let me add in one more thing here. If they also add in backwards compatibility with this, for me, I think it would almost be more expensive. If they did $20 just because their exclusives are a bit more valuable, $20, they get full backwards compat. They somehow whip up some magic bullshit where every PS1 game, PS2, PS3 game, you can play it with the $20 a month sub. Exclusives though, they don't release that many.
Yeah.
You know, it's one every 2 years usually, I think, from Sony. Maybe one a year. So
first party games?
Yeah, first party. Like the big games that everyone looks towards.
Well, so because now there's let's stick to backwards compatibility, let's keep aside.
Okay. For
their current gen exclusives, I think second party, so like Returnal, I think would be included in this.
Okay.
Demon Souls, I think, is included, even though it's technically not first party.
Okay.
But it's a major second party, first party, major console exclusive. So Steve, does this entice you at all?
$15 a month for something like that. It's interesting. I mean,
looking at like no PC as well. No PC.
Just console.
This is just
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if Game Pass didn't exist, I think it would be an emphatic yes. But looking at the landscape right now, I think I'd be better off just picking and choosing the PlayStation games I want and then paying for Game Pass, honestly. Because like you guys were saying, like there's not that many games that come out. And if I had something like an Xbox Game Pass to accompany this, and I could just wait for Sony prices for PlayStation game prices to go down, I think that Sony needs a stronger offering than just their exclusives. And going into this generation, I was sure that if I was only going to get one console, which most likely I would, that's what I did last generation, it would be a PS5 easy, because I got a PC, I can play the Xbox games, the ones that I want, blah blah blah. But the PC Game Pass isn't the Xbox Game Pass.
No.
The selection's not as good.
It will get better. And the selection will get better, but I don't know if the interface will get better.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right now I think that Sony has to, if they want to compete with Game Pass, man, they got to offer something big, and I just don't think that they have the same size pockets that Microsoft has to draw on. Because, I mean, how long, and maybe it still does, I don't know how these things work in business, but how long did Game Pass run at a financial loss for Microsoft? That they could just eat. I would imagine it still is. You know what I mean? I don't think that Sony could pull that off with their budget.
I really like that point, Steve, though, about how long did it run at a loss. For some reason, this industry, less than most industries, fail to understand that you need to invest to grow. I look at EA. They don't really invest. Like Madden, I listened to Angry Joe just rant about Madden 22.
The 22 reveal?
Yeah. I just listened to him rant, and the reasoning behind their decisions, and he kept citing the $1 billion that they're worth.
Yeah.
Something doesn't cross their mind that if they were to invest more and actually make a better product, get reviews up again, like they used to be, it would sell better and they would have a better product and people would be more interested. because that's how sports.
Anyway, this
What's
is the
that?
problem. People are gonna buy it. It's gonna sell millions of copies. It's a bestseller every year.
I know, but
until people stop buying it, they're not gonna change.
I do agree, but at the same time, they could also be a little proactive and say, okay, the people that we've lost, because they do lose people. I know we are very. It's still one of the highest selling games. They probably lose 100. Let's say they lose 100 people every game that comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's a couple $1,000. Maybe it's $20,000 that they're losing from that. If they just focused, this is what I'm getting. If they just focused and actually invested more money and made a better product, and it had an 88 on Metacritic, fuck, even I would get interested. I don't even like Madden, but if it's actually a good game, that's why I got into FIFA. That's why I bought FIFA, because FIFA 12 had a 90 or something on Metacritic. When they're actually fun, good games, more people that have no interest are destined to try them, and that's only good for the game. And they just say, oh, we make billions anyway. They don't think, but we could make 5 billion more if we invested $1 billion.
Right.
I've been saying this for a long time. Imagine something like Madden or FIFA went the full subscription route. Like, maybe every year they do some sort of like graphical update, just constantly updating players and teams and all that kind of stuff, and people just paid in it every year, and you had these like basically guaranteed return customers, because it's like, oh, I just got to re-up my subscription rather than buying a whole new 60, 70 whatever dollar game it is.
Yeah.
I
still wouldn't buy it because I don't give a shit about sports games, but I think that'd be cool for them and people who are into those games. I've said for a long time,
if Pro Clubs was $20, I'd buy it at launch every year. If I could just buy the mode that I play.
Yeah.
But they want you to have Ultimate Team.
I'm surprised Ultimate Team isn't free to play.
I agree.
But, so Steve, you made the decision to forego Sony's Gamepass.
Mm-hmm.
An example, so you would have paid $180 in 2017. You would have
Right.
gotten, are you ready for this? What you're missing out on in 2017?
Oh, boy. Should I, really get comfortable for this long list that I'm about to endure?
Yeah. So you're missing out on Knack 2 and...
Fuck. $200. Take my money. Don't even read the rest.
Knack 2 and Horizon Zero Dawn. That's what you would have missed in 2017.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's rough, dude.
That's it. 2018, which was a huge year. Detroit Become Human.
Mm-hmm.
God of War, Spider-Man. Massive year for the console. You would have paid $180 if you bought all three day one, and you would have paid $180 for this. So
yeah, for $15 a month.
I don't think this is a very viable.
It's not exactly an
strategy.
apples to oranges. It's not exactly an apples to apples comparison though, just because Microsoft isn't like. I mean, how many console console exclusives does Microsoft put out where they're also giving you Tomb Raider and they're also giving you Doom and they're also giving you,
Well, it's gonna.
If it was those games plus every third party that dropped on PlayStation, $15 maybe.
That's the thing about Microsoft is that I feel with this is something I want to talk about in the podcast, but I'll pop into this next. I want to continue with this Sony Game Pass idea. Steve, I feel like we always say, would you do it if Sony had this? Let's dive into. All right, Mike. What does Sony have to do to get you to be like, oh, I'm in on their Sony? What do they have to do to get you to
get
be
me
in
back
on their Game Pass if they came out with something that was great? Can they? Can they do something to bring you back at this point?
No, dude. They made a big deal recently of investing. They have like $200 million earmarked to invest in their studios, their first party studios. How much money is Microsoft paying for Back 4 Blood Day 1? How much money is Microsoft paying to get Avalanche's exclusive game, Contraband?
Yeah.
They just paid how many billions of dollars for Bethesda? They're in two separate echelons. Sony can't... Yeah, if they made a compelling alternative to Game Pass, yeah, and it had Sony's first party, sure.
But what would that have to include? I don't know if...
It's impossible. It's impossible because they can't play ball with that. their dick is not long enough. Phil's got the dick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
He's got
thing
the
stretches
wallet,
for miles.
and his wallet is just as big. Sony can't compete. What Microsoft is paying to get these games day one on Game Pass, Sony is going out of their way to siphon these funds to invest in their first party studios. There's nothing left. There's no money left.
Yeah.
So no, they're not going to get Back for Blood on Game Pass. They're not going to get
Deathloop
whatever
was
else.
probably a big deal for them. Like, that was probably
yeah,
huge.
probably.
The Capcom marketing probably cost them a shit ton to have
Yeah.
that boasted on the
Yeah.
PlayStation. I think this is what's strange. Sony they do have kind of a hidden weapon that for some reason they fucking just don't care about. Backwards compatibility.
Oh.
Dude, the PS1, PS2, and PS3 games, PS2 is essentially the golden age. It's the best console of all time. And they throw it aside. Jim Ryan, who would want to play these games? They look like garbage. It's because they're fun. They're fun fucking games. The reason why I go back and play Going Commando, because the writing and everything is to the point, and the platforming, and it's just great. Jack and Daxter, yeah, let me see Naughty Dog at their glory days. They fail to understand this shit. And also to see some of the smaller titles, Area 51, first-person shooter game, Dark Watch, Sly Cooper. Nah, we don't care.
Yeah,
Xbox, who doesn't have it, Voodoo Vince, yeah, dude, remaster. Let's fucking go. Like,
and I think that's where the separation between the two of them is in terms of how they respond to criticism, where Xbox, when they had their Xbox One first showcase, and they just got lit up by the media, and they went back to the drawing board. And right now, and I think it's very similar to what happened that generation, where Xbox is riding high on the 360. Sure, by the end, PlayStation caught up, but for the majority of that generation, Xbox was the one to beat. And so they came into the Xbox One generation thinking, oh, everyone's going to want an Xbox, of course. Yeah, and fuck it. We'll give them TV, too, and everyone's going to love it, and it's going to be great. Whereas now, and PlayStation, I think, is doing the same thing. And are they going to go back to the drawing board? Are they going to make a real effort to change their model, become more consumer-friendly? Because they're winning right now, but, dude, after this E3, man, we'll see how much longer that continues. It's tough to say. And you know what? Competition's good, man. If PlayStation has to get humbled again, because look, dude, it's a fucking cycle. The same exact thing happened when the PS3 came out. PS2, best-selling console ever. All of a sudden, Sony comes in with a PS3 like, yeah, they'll give us fucking $800. Who cares? Guess what? No, they didn't. PlayStation had to work to catch up. Xbox does the same thing with the Xbox One, works to catch up. And now, I mean, we'll see what happens, man.
My only argument is about the cycle.
And then Nintendo's just doing whatever the fuck they want.
Best-selling console for the last 3 years every month. Yeah.
Something right now feels very balanced, though. I'm here complaining about Ratchet and Clank being $70. It works for Sony. It's the best-selling game in the UK. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Like you said, Mike, no one's going to pay Game Pass on Sony to play third-party games when all we want from them is all they make money from is the first party. If that's what they're banking on, if they're going so hard on first-party games, that must be where they make all their money from. So I feel like there is kind of a balance. Yeah. Sure, I don't buy games often, but when I do, it's the $70 AAA, big fucking holy shit, everyone's got to see what we're doing at Sony. Because they care about the software.
Yes, but they're going to really hurt when people stop primarily using PS5 as their main console. That's when they're going to get hurt, when they're not getting the 30% of $1 billion in Ultimate Team transactions. When everyone goes for Ultimate Team and Call of Duty and Fortnite, they go to Xbox, because Xbox is where all the people are going to now start migrating to. That's when Sony is in big, big trouble. So it's less. I don't think there's balance now, but with that shift, I think it's coming, and I think it's gonna hurt Sony badly. But
I think with the PS3, they still at least put out exclusives throughout. Microsoft didn't. They're finally rectifying it, at least now. That's where I feel the balance is. No matter what happens with Sony, their first party will always put out the eye catchers, the very beautiful games to look at, and critically appraised games, I feel.
There's only one PlayStation 5 game announced. Exclusive.
True, but
that's it. It's being made by Microsoft.
The PS4
That's
was
the
worse.
only
Last gen
announced
was
PlayStation
worse.
5 exclusive. Deathloop. Right?
This is something that a lot of people are misconstruing. Everyone's like, "Where's the games?" Dude, it was way worse with the Xbox One and PS4. There was fucking nothing. We had Resogun for 2 years.
We had Infamous Second Son.
Oh yeah, I didn't.
We had
Killzone.
Shadow. We had Killzone Shadowfall.
Right, and once again though, Bloodborne was 2000. I was in college, my freshman year of college, and I got the console my senior year of high school. So 2 years later,
I'm not saying we're not getting games because Horizon's coming, God of War's coming. They're not making games specifically for this console.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, look at but
and
why
Xbox
would
comes
they?
out, and Starfield is a next-gen exclusive.
But that's also 2 years away.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about Horizon's coming out this year. God of War's coming out beginning of next year. And they've cited that the production shortages aren't stopping. Like, they're going to continue to suffer. Maybe in 2023 there'll be 50 million PS3s. 30 million PS3s out there. But maybe there'll be 25 million by 2022. It's bad now. There's 112 million PS4s out there. Maybe.
And it's not even about how many consoles are out there, but how many Xbox owners are paying the subscription. It's about attach rate as well. You know what I mean? How many of these Xbox owners are constantly paying every single month for Game Pass? Where, Mike, you said you just turned on your PlayStation for the first time in a while to play Ratchet and Clank. Even if there are more PlayStations out there, which consoles sell at a loss for these companies generally, how much money is Sony really bringing in compared to Microsoft with how many consoles they have out? It's tough. I mean, I'm excited to see how this console generation shakes out, because right now Microsoft is clearly gaining a lot of steam.
Yeah.
I have a question, Steve, before I jump into our next topic about Microsoft and what it felt like to me watching their conference. So this is strange. I've had a weird revelation recently about Microsoft, is that seeing how they handle social media and how friendly they are and how loving they are of the consumer and the developers and just everyone around. They're just very meme-like, very happy, one with us. And the way that they treat us, it makes me like, if Halo comes out and it's good, it's like, I'll buy it because I want to support you guys. Would you feel like that if this continues to go well? Like, would you be like, just because of an example, would you ever consider, yes, you're gonna get it for free, but at the same time, you kind of want to support good practice, right?
No, absolutely not. 0% chance. If I'm getting this game for free, why the fuck am I spending $60, $70 when I could spend $0? And it's not like I'm spending $0. I'm already paying them for the service. I'm not buying it twice. Like, yeah, that sounds nice, but like, it's a no. It's a hard no, I would say.
Mike, same
not to
thing.
burst your bubble.
Yeah, same thing for me.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
Mike
just bought
sells the
Ninja
games
Gaiden
after
2,
anyway.
Ninja Gaiden 2 is $30 on the store. I bought it. But that's because it was on Game Pass, but now it's gone. and I have a feeling that has to do with the collection that
Mm.
came out. That's terrible. Ninja Gaiden 2 is really good, by the way. You should play it.
Yeah, it is.
I just did a quick search on eBay for sold listings for PS5 and Xbox Series X.
Mm.
Very comparable prices, very close. And if you
Really?
guys remember, when the consoles first came out, PS5s were going for like $1,200,
Yeah.
$1,200, and Xboxes were going for 800.
700. Yeah, 700, 800.
800, 750, and now there's parity
Yeah.
right now.
Damn.
The people are
That
speaking.
is crazy.
Also, today at the Xbox, they announced their design lab for the Series X controllers. You can now customize. Where the fuck is that, Sony? We get Midnight Blue for $80. We
And
get
Cosmic
Blue,
Red, don't forget.
Cosmic Red.
I made the fucking
I
ugliest
know.
design lab controller. I was like, oh, like, 'cause you guys know I love the color yellow. I'm like, oh, like I'm gonna get yellow triggers and it's gonna have a fucking like black and white body. It's gonna be sick. And the
You sent a
triggers,
picture to me. It was so bad.
It was not.
Post it in the group me.
yellow.
I'm curious to
Oh.
see it.
Dude, it was like
I'm gonna see if
mustard,
I can find
like mustard yellow. Just the most
Ugh.
fucking disgusting. It was so bad. Even Kev's like, dude, like, can you return it?
it. It was.
You got to put that shit on eBay as like
I
a
sold it.
very exclusive item,
Yeah.
like only one in existence.
I did
This
sell it
is
on
the
eBay.
ugly.
Here it
I don't
is.
know if you can.
I just got out too.
I don't. Oh, you can't see it from here. I'll have to put
It
it.
looks
in
good
chat.
from here. Yeah,
Yeah.
do it.
There you go.
Mike.
That's, I mean,
The
It's a little
triggers.
weird.
It's the back looks bad. It looks
So,
like mustard.
It wasn't. It was like a mustard color.
okay. Did
I
you
thought
open
you
the
should have
box and
balanced it with a
immediately
light
hate it?
blue. It would have looked
I
fine.
opened it. I took it out, and I was like, I can't use this.
You should have
No
balanced it with light
self-respecting
blue.
gamer.
I think it was like $70, and I think I sold it on eBay for like $30.
Yeah,
Like,
I bet
immediately after I got
no
it.
one wanted it. I bet no one wanted it. You're out of focus there.
Yeah.
Don't want to focus on
There
your
you
hand
go.
close.
It's
There
out
you
of
go.
focusing now, I think, right?
I'd like to revisit this discussion again, as we've
Yeah.
kind of let this kind of soak over us. We think about it for another week. It'll be a bit more.
Yeah,
I
do
don't
a
know.
part 2.
We're fine. Yeah, let's do a part 2.
Keep
We
the
think
fans
about it some
waiting.
more. Yeah,
Okay, that sounds good.
and some of the dust will settle, and we'll see how we feel, kind of a little bit removed from the event because it's still kind of hot.
Yeah.
Presses.
I mean, we just had the Xbox thing today that
Yeah.
I'm sure most of you have to. I skimmed through it a bit. I also want to talk about Blizzard still and Burning Crusade because 15 years of that, and want to talk about what they did, what they're showing at E3, and they also just they announced patch 9.1 for World of Warcraft coming out. June
Yeah,
29th.
let's hit that next week, and we'll give some closing thoughts on how we're feeling about E3.
All right, lads. Well, I'll see you
All
then.
right.
All right, yep, sounds good. Thanks, guys.